Welcome back to the cryptowrld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now, Bitcoin is still running into short-term resistance while a new signal is flashing that we need to pay attention to. And on top of that, $1 billion worth of long positions just closed, while Ethereum is also flashing a new signal in the short term. So I'll be talking about that later in the video. Definitely watch to the end. First of all, just giving you a really quick update here on the weekly Bitcoin chart. And right now, once again, the price of Bitcoin is still trading above that previous level of resistance right here, which was sitting at around $42,000. And the next level of resistance is, of course, that resistance right here at around 48 to 49,000 here on the weekly time frame. And technically speaking, we have not yet confirmed a weekly candle close above 42K. So we have not yet confirmed the breakout above this resistance here on the weekly time frame. But in a little over 1 day from now, we have a new weekly candle close confirming. And so for as long as the price of Bitcoin is holding above 42,000 for the next 1 to 2 days or so, of course, that could confirm the weekly candle close above this resistance, confirming the breakout. But either way, of course, we are still technically within this much larger bullish trend on the weekly chart. So in terms of the trend and momentum on larger timeframes, obviously, we are still looking more bullish than bearish. And just taking a quick look at the daily Bitcoin chart, and also in terms of the trend and momentum, at least for now on the daily time frame, we are also still looking more bullish than bearish. Because if you're looking at the price structure alone, of course, this is still forming higher lows and higher highs, which is technically bullish price structure. That is the price trending in the bullish direction. And if you're looking at the MACD, as of right now, this is still showing bullish momentum. But if you're looking at the daily Bitcoin RSI, obviously, this is looking a little bit more bearish, with the RSI currently overbought, meaning we have somewhat limited room to the upside, at least in the short term. And on top of that, obviously, we also have a potential bearish divergence forming here on the daily time frame, with higher highs in the price and lower highs in the RSI. But at least for now, we still need to see some more confirmation in order to fully confirm this bearish divergence in place on the chart. But while it is potentially forming, of course, it's just something to pay attention to, because if it does end up confirming, obviously that could result in a bit of a short-term cool-off over the coming weeks. And when I'm saying a short-term cool-off, what I mean is either a sideways consolidation or potentially a pullback in the price of Bitcoin, but not necessarily a bearish trend reversal. Because in order to see more of a bearish trend reversal in terms of the short-term bullish and bearish trends here on the daily time frame, in order to expect a trend reversal in the bearish direction, of course, I'd like to see a larger bullish reversal confirm here in the DXY. And at least for now, obviously, we have seen a short-term bounce in the DXY, but not really enough to confirm a full-on bullish reversal. And so at least for now, while the DXY is still technically within this short-term bearish trend, forming lower highs and lower lows, obviously that technically means the price of Bitcoin is also still looking bullish in terms of the trend. And just zooming into the smaller timeframes, taking a look at the 6-hour Bitcoin chart, at least as of right now, we are still finding some short-term resistance at this Fibonacci extension, which is sitting at around 44.2K to 44.3K approximately. And so, like I've been saying over the last few days, we should expect some short-term resistance around that level, which is exactly what we have seen over the last few days as expected. But if we do ultimately confirm a breakout above 44.3K, then the next Fibonacci extension, which should act as a resistance, is sitting at around 45.7K. And so basically, if we confirm a breakout with confirmation above 44.3K, then perhaps expect a move up towards around 45.7K. And as for short-term support, we have found some support at around 43,000. And other than that, in a more bearish scenario, we also have more support down here at around 41.8K to 42K. And just giving you a quick update on my Bitcoin long position trade that I entered all the way back down here at the breakout from this bullish ascending triangle pattern. At least for now, once again, I still have some of that long position remaining open and just continuing to remain open as the price of Bitcoin continues higher. And of course, I'm moving my stop loss further into profits as the price of Bitcoin continues higher. And so that eventually, when the price of Bitcoin experiences some sort of decent pullback or a short-term bearish trend reversal, I'm not saying that's definitely going to happen right now, but eventually when that does happen, of course, that will just trigger my stop loss and automatically exit me out of the trade in profits. And with this specific leveraged long position right here for this breakout trade, of course, I already have taken a lot of profits off the table. I've closed a lot lot of that long position at around the technical price targets from that ascending triangle pattern. But once again, I did keep some of that position remaining open, which obviously has worked out very well with the price continuing higher beyond that technical price targets. And if you want to take trades just like this, making a lot of profit very easily in crypto, then make sure to have an account ready to go for the next trade on an exchange like Bybit or Bitflex, which is where I take these trades. And so I'll make sure to leave a link to Bybit in the description down below and in the pinned comment. And in fact, if you use that link to make a Bybit account, you can get up to a $30,000 deposit bonus, but only if you use that link down below this video. But unfortunately, you may not be able to access Bybit in certain countries around the world. And so if that's the case, there is also Bitflex, which is another crypto exchange similar to Bybit, but you don't need KYC with Bitflex. And so I'll also make sure to leave a link to Bitflex in the description down below and in the pinned comment. And if you use that link to make a Bitflex account, deposit $100 worth of crypto or more, and to make one trade over on Bitflex, you can get 10 USDT completely for free. And so that's basically a free 10% return on a $100 deposit. And so if you're trading crypto anyway, or if you're preparing to trade crypto, you might as well check out those links down below this video for those extra bonuses and get set up ready to go for the next trade. But anyway, taking a look at the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, and of course over the last one day we moved exactly up towards this liquidation zone at around 44,500 approximately before experiencing a short-term pullback. And like I said in my last video, when the price was all the way back down here, I said it's very likely that the price is going to move up towards around 44,500 to liquidate those positions before potentially pulling back a little bit. And that's basically exactly what we have done as expected. But as of right now, in the liquidation heat map for Bitcoin, we don't really have a lot of liquidation levels either side of the price of Bitcoin, at least in the short term, which basically means we cannot really use this liquidation heat map today to help predict the price of Bitcoin, because once again, we don't really have strong liquidation levels as of right now. But obviously, as this continues to change and evolve and potentially new liquidations begin to form, obviously I'll make sure to keep you updated in these videos. So make sure you subscribe to this channel with notifications turned on so that you don't miss out on any of these important updates, which can help predict the price of Bitcoin. And now getting back into the Bitcoin chart, taking a look at the daily Bitcoin chart, and this green line right here is the Bitcoin long positions over on Bitfinex. And just recently, we've seen a lot of long positions close over the last few days. And so over the last 1 to 2 weeks, this totals to around $1 billion worth of Bitcoin long positions just on that one exchange that have closed. And because these are long positions that have closed, of course, that means basically selling Bitcoin, but on the futures market, not on the spot market. And so essentially the Bitcoin whales, the large traders out there, are reducing the size of their long positions by quite a lot. And of course, a long position is essentially a trade or a bet that the price of Bitcoin is going to go higher, because obviously as the Bitcoin price goes up, the long positions are making profits. And so essentially when you're closing long positions like this, when the price of Bitcoin is going higher, obviously you're taking profits off the table as you're potentially getting a little bit more cautious on the price of Bitcoin. And the last couple of times where we've seen a lot of long positions close for Bitcoin, of course, this happened all the way back here. And as you can see, we saw a decent amount of long positions close, not as much as what we've seen just here, but we still saw a decent amount of long positions close. And that happened right at around this local high in the price of Bitcoin. And now, technically speaking, after some of these positions closed, of course, we still had a little bit higher in the short term, but what came next was a short-term trend reversal in the more bearish direction. And then the next significant drop-off in the Bitcoin long positions happened during around the middle of March, approximately in the second half of March. And obviously that happened just after we saw a significant move to the upside in the price of Bitcoin. So basically a lot of large traders were taking a lot of profits off the table. And what came next in that case was just some choppy sideways price action over the next 1 to 2 weeks, basically a sideways consolidation. And then we actually had a little bit higher in the short term around 1 to 2 weeks later. But then after that, obviously we had a short-term bearish trend that lasted for a couple of months or so, basically a short-term bearish trend that occurred within the much larger bullish trend. And once again, just recently, we've seen around $1 billion worth of long positions just on Bitfinex close very quickly. And this can mean two things. Once again, as I said earlier, this could mean a lot of large traders are taking profits off the table, becoming cautious on the price of Bitcoin, which potentially means sometime soon, whether that's starting right now or starting in a couple weeks from now, sometime soon, we could experience a short-term pullback of some sort. But because a lot of long positions are already closing right now, this this actually decreases the chance of a massive long squeeze. Because of course, if we see a flash crash in the price of Bitcoin, as Bitcoin continues lower and lower in those flash crashes that we see here and there, oftentimes those flash crashes are actually amplified. We see a lot more violent price action to the downside because a lot of long positions are getting liquidated in the process. And if a long position closes or gets liquidated, it's basically the same as selling Bitcoin, adding more selling pressure. And so essentially in those cases where the price of Bitcoin just crashes, of course, that triggers a lot of liquidation levels to the downside, rapidly sending the price even lower. But once again, that usually happens if we're flipping much more bearish. And of course, if there's a lot of long positions in the market ready to be liquidated. But because we have already now seen a lot of long positions actually close, this actually reduces the risk of that major bearish scenario, a massive long squeeze actually happening. And so, as I said earlier, this is telling us two potential things. Potentially, we could see some sort of pullback sometime soon. But the second thing it is telling us is that potential pullback that we could see at some point soon might only be a minor pullback. We shouldn't necessarily expect a massive flash crash. And if we're zooming into the shorter term, looking at the 4-hour Bitcoin chart, obviously right now we do have a small bearish divergence here just on the 4-hour time frame. But obviously, as we could see in this previous short-term bearish divergence on the 4-hour chart, of course, this can result in a bit of a short-term pullback, but not necessarily a bearish trend reversal. Because obviously, even after that bearish divergence confirmed, and we did see a little bit of a pullback and some sideways consolidation over the next couple of days, of course, we still remained within the bullish trend of forming higher lows and higher highs. And so basically, this small bearish divergence on the 4-hour chart is telling us that we could be due to see a bit of a short-term cool-off, either a sideways consolidation or perhaps a small pullback, but I would not necessarily expect a massive trend reversal just based on this signal alone. And so overall, once again, in terms of the trend and momentum, overall, we are still looking more bullish than bearish. But anyway, getting into the Ethereum part of this video, this is on the weekly time frame, and obviously the price of ETH is still very much looking bullish on the weekly chart, breaking out from this bullish ascending triangle pattern. And obviously this bullish breakout in the price has happened a few weeks after we already confirmed a breakout here in the weekly Ethereum RSI. And so overall in the price oscillators and the price, of course, we are still looking bullish on the larger time frames with that bullish price target at around $4,300. So potentially at some point during 2024, at some point next year, we could end up seeing the price of ETH go up towards around $4,300 or potentially even higher. But if we're taking a look at the daily time frame, of course, right now in terms of the trend and momentum, we are still currently looking more bullish than bearish because first of all, looking at the price structure, the trend in the price is obviously forming higher lows and higher highs, which is a bullish trend. And looking at the momentum here in the daily Ethereum MACD, as of right now, this is still looking bullish. But as I said earlier, for Bitcoin, of course, the RSI on the daily time frame is flashing some small bearish signals with the RSI currently in overbought territories, telling us we might have limited room to the upside, at least in the short term. And also, of course, it is forming a potential bearish divergence with higher highs in the price and lower highs in the RSI. But at least for now, this potential bearish divergence has not yet been confirmed, which basically means it's something to pay attention to as it is potentially forming, but nothing to act on right now because once again, it has not yet been confirmed. And if we're zooming into the slightly short term, looking at the 8-hour ETH to US dollar chart, obviously right now the price of ETH has gotten very close to completing the breakout from this bullish ascending triangle pattern. Because at least as of right now, the price of ETH has currently gotten as high as around $2,400, and we have the technical price target at around $2,430. And so considering the fact that we've gotten just around $30 of the technical price target, personally, I have started to scale out of my breakout long position. And so basically, I am actually closing some of that long position around 2.4K to 2,430. But as I also did with my Bitcoin trade, of course, I did close a lot of that trade around the price target from that ascending triangle pattern on the 6-hour Bitcoin chart. But I did also leave some of that Bitcoin long position remaining open in case the price just continues higher. So that is what I'm doing here as well for the price of ETH, with my stop loss also sitting well into profits. And obviously, as the price continues higher, I'll just continue to move my stop loss into profits. And now, as always, that is not personal financial advice because I don't know your personal financial situation. That is just letting you know what I'm usually doing in these breakout situations. And once again, if you want to take trades just like this to make a lot of profits very easily, make sure to have an account ready to go for the next trade over on Bybit or Bitflex, where you can claim those extra bonuses in those links down below this video. But anyway, zooming further into the short term, looking at the 2-hour ETH to US dollar chart, and what we can see right now is of course a small bearish divergence forming and already beginning to play out here in the immediate short term. And so, like I said earlier, for Bitcoin in the short term, this small bearish divergence means that we're due to see a bit of a cool off in the immediate short term, which can play out in the form of either choppy sideways price action, basically a sideways consolidation, or potentially a small pullback over the next 1 to 2 days or so. But remember, this by itself, considering it's only on the 2-hour chart, is not really enough to confirm a massive bearish trend reversal, because obviously during this bullish trend, we've seen multiple bearish divergences confirm and play out in the immediate short term. First of all, this one all the way back in around the 24th of November confirmed and played out over the next few days in the form of a short-term pullback before continuing the bullish trend later on. And we also saw something very similar right back here around 4 days ago. Obviously, a small bearish divergence confirmed on the 2-hour chart with higher highs in the price and lower highs in the RSI. And over the next 1 to 2 days or so, we did see a small pullback just in the immediate short term, but once again, it was just a minor pullback within the bullish trend. And so potentially over the next 1 to 2 days, once again, we could see either some sideways price action or potentially a small pullback, but once again, this can occur within the bullish trend before continuing higher later on. And if you want to know how you can profit from crypto, no matter if the price is bullish, bearish, or chopping around sideways, you can profit in either of those scenarios by watching these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how to make money if the price is bullish or bearish using AI, and the video in the bottom left shows you how you can easily profit from choppy sideways price action. But anyway, that's everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.